Dr. H, Dr. Hater. I love the play on words with that. What's going on, brother? YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. Let me give you guys a little intro. We're going to be doing some fancy stuff today. We try to, we try to do it the right way every now and again. So this is my intro now. YouTube, you guys get to enjoy that. All right, IG, Moto Group, what's going on, brother? Auntie Dula Cherie was up here. What's going on? Madame, how are you? All right. So, folks, Wealth Wednesday episode, I think we're at 62, I think. So we are here trying to have a quick discussion. I love that song. We're here trying to have a quick discussion today. I was thinking about the topics of the episode today, and I was kind of torn between a couple of things. The one thing I was torn with was, do we go into financial literacy? Do we go into some of the issues with the health industry right now and why that's a big problem? Do we go into hire car and why that stock is continuing to do ups and downs? Do we go into part of our financial literacy course, chapter 3, which is about savings? So we're going to probably hit all of them. That's what we're going to do. We're going to hit everything, and that way folks can kind of enjoy this Wealth Wednesday with us. So first of all, I want to say thank you for the folks who have been here with us, sharing space. It's really important that we create spaces like this where you can come through and talk about anything. The goal of this is to make financial literacy commonplace. That's the goal. So we've been trying to do that. We do that with our podcast. We do that with our day-to-day conversations. We do that with just everything that we do. Like, the whole goal is to keep these conversations relevant, because as things change, you can't say that you didn't hear about it, right? Like, we want to be at the forefront of what's going on. So for folks who are on YouTube or who don't know about us, we are The Way. We are a nonprofit located out in New York City. We've been established for over a year. Right now we're in the process of creating a financial literacy program. If you're on our YouTube channel, you can actually see what we're doing. We are this section down here at the bottom of our website. It talks about the way philanthropy opportunity, which is basically, if you have found any value in our content, please support our mission to provide financial literacy to all. We will apply all donations to our program creation department. We are currently in the process of creating a financial literacy class for kids between the ages of 7 and 17 years of age. The ultimate goal is to have kids manage our foundation's portfolio and show them how to use the power of compounding interest to start their own portfolios eventually. Generational wealth begins with us. So that's where we are aiming all of our energies right now. I think at this point right now, we're actually partnering with a few other nonprofits that are in the city. For example, one of them that I had the pleasure of working with was a nonprofit called Emerge. And they are a group of men that are working with young boys in the high school age that are graduating into college, and just giving them the tools that they need in order to be successful at life. Some of these men have had losses in their lives. Some of them have lost parents. Some have lost just stability of their homes. Some just, had, a lot of, pressure from outside when it comes to society, especially in a pandemic. And this group of mentors really stepped in and provided them with a level of safety and security. So, one of the things that when they asked me to come on and just speak with the young men, I talked to them about financial literacy, and I kind of gave them a breakdown of one of the course chapters, because to me, it was like, this is a perfect opportunity to kind of sample out what we're trying to accomplish here. So that's really the goal, is to continue to partner with, companies like Emerge, partner with, Peace, what's going on? Atlanta CMOS plug. I like that title too. So the goal is to continue to plug in with the youth, and plug in with any sort of mission or nonprofit, even for-profit, that is geared towards helping the youth. And we're going to do it by applying our course and our programming to that. If you're not familiar with what we do when it comes to our financial literacy course, I'll give you a quick rundown of it's a 10-week course, and the goal of it is to continue to increase the knowledge of finance at young ages. So the first chapter is foundations, and that covers areas of how to build your actual balance sheet, how to build your income statement, how to know what a statement of cash flows is. These are all terminology that you need to know if you're in finance, right? We talk about what's your current capacity to earn, or do you have any skill sets that are going to give you the ability to earn income and to earn extra revenue? We talk about life insurance. We talk about how the wealthy protect their wealth. That's all in the foundations program. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is debt reconstruction. Chapter 3 is savings. Chapter 4 is investing. Chapter 5 is diversification of holdings. That's our final chapter. In that chapter, we discuss things like asset classes, cryptocurrency, land, real estate, trusts, commodities, what have you. So the purpose of the course is really to kind of take you through all of the levels of finance so that when you're done, you can either apply that to your current situation, put it in the back and just kind of keep that all that information that you have so that when you're in the position to do something with it, you can, or share it with someone that you love, whether it be with your children, whether it be with your, your spouse. I think a lot of folks, when they talk about financial literacy, we got to remember, like, you're not in this journey by yourself. I know when I started my financial journey, I didn't have a wife at the time, but again, I needed to learn the skills so that when I did have a wife and a family, I could show them some of the things that I did in order to help me get to where I was. And it's so funny, like it's to the point where now my wife has a better financial picture than me right now. But that's okay. I'm okay with that because, when she's doing well, I'm doing well, right? Like that's the purpose of having information. You're able to kind of give things in a manner that's going to come back tenfold. And now she can be in a position to, give that to our daughter or even to her friends or her family. That's kind of the way that the gift that keeps on giving. So that's our financial literacy course. It's a 10-week course. Each chapter has 2 weeks. The first week is getting the information. The second week is application. One thing that I realized with financial literacy is that if you don't get a chance to apply it, it doesn't stick. So I could tell you, okay, this is a good way to save money. I could tell you this is a good way to reconstruct your balance sheet for your own personal assets, how to spend your money on a monthly basis. I can tell you all that, right? But if I don't show you how to create your own balance sheet where you can monitor your investments, monitor your savings, monitor your expenses on a monthly basis, if I don't show you how to actually use it, it's not going to change your life yet. You know what I mean? So one of the things that we find value in is making sure that we apply the lessons that we're learning. That's why it's each chapter is 2 weeks. The first week is the knowledge and the information. The second week is the homework and making sure that we can apply that, because without application, everything knowledge is nothing without application, right? So, so that's a little bit about us. So I will close that out. Let us go into, well, before we get into anything, I want to go into Yahoo Finance real quick and go to our we had a case study on this company here. If you're on our YouTube, you can see it. Let me make the screen a little bit bigger. That way you're not busting your brain to see what I'm looking at here. All right, so we are going to look at HireCar. Now I'm only doing this because, again, it's good for us to kind of maintain a level of consistency when it comes to how we look at stocks and what's going on with them, right? So if I were to look at HireCar now, and right now the stock price it's been, for the last 5 days, it has trended down. So it was at 965 and now it's at 853. So that's probably what, a 10% loss over the last week. Okay. We have been talking about the stock specifically because of the fact that they have a really good business model, right? Now, one of the things that we always look at when we look at stocks is we look at the company outlook. Right now, the performance outlook on here says that short term between 2 weeks and 6 weeks is negative, 6 weeks to 9 months is negative, and long term 9 months plus is negative. So they're saying that for the next year, this stock is not going to make money. Okay, that's what they're saying. Now, why is that the case? Well, currently there is a class action lawsuit in the news. There's been probably, if you look at this of our screen, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 articles about their lawsuit, right? And if you know anything about the way that stocks work, anytime that there is an issue with a stock, if there is a lawsuit or something looming, it's going to give that stock a lot of news coverage. And investors and advisors look at that. They want to see if there's any good moves, if not. If there's a lot of bad publicity, sometimes advisors will actually short the stock and make money going down. So there's reasons why stocks fluctuate the way that they do, especially with the news cycle. So right now what's happening with them is that Rosen Global Investor Council encourages HireCar Inc. investors with losses over 100K to secure counsel before important deadline in securities class action lawsuit, right? So this article, let me pull this up. So Rosen Law Firm, a global investor rights law, reminds purchasers of the securities of HireCar Inc. between May 14th, 2021 and August 10th, 2021, inclusive, that's the class period, of important October 26th, 2021 lead plaintiff deadline. So what? If you purchased HireCar securities during the class period, you may be entitled to compensation without payment of any out-of-pocket fees or costs through the contingency fee agreement. What do you do next? To join the HireCar class action. So this is an actual lawsuit that's happening right now. When these things come up, the stock price does this, right? And that's just standard. That's what's going to happen. So this stock is going to see a lot of negative review, and it's going to affect the actual volume of the stock. So let's look at the actual chart, because all of that means nothing until we look at the analytics, right? So let's look at the chart. And I'm going to do this real quick so that you guys can kind of see, what to look for and how to know if you're positioned properly, right? So we always talk about RSI when it comes to stock prices, right? So right now you can see the higher car stock over the last 5 days. This is the chart for the last 5 days. Started off at a high of $9, and then as you can see, the reds are taking over. You have a couple of big days where the green, it kind of went from, where to go from here? 865 to 918, and then reverse, right? Cool. All right, so here's what I want you to look at. See this chart down here? This number down here? This is the RSI. Okay, that's the relative strength index. That is the indicator that I use, which is the most important part of, when it comes to investing and buying stocks for me. The goal for me is that anytime the RSI is below 50, so it's a scale of roughly 0 to 100. It's not exact, but roughly 0 to 100. Anytime the RSI on any stock is below 50, that means that it's trading at a discount, which means that if you buy it underneath a 50, you're getting it at a discount, at a decline. That's when I like to buy my shares. That's just me. That's just how I live my life. So over today's the 22nd. So over the last 3 days, this stock was trading at an RSI of 43. It went up to a 58. Then it dropped down below 50, and now it's trading at a 40, 45, 37, 38. If you had bought right here at 11:20 on today, today's the 22nd? Today's the 22nd. 11:20 today, the RSI was at 34, right? And this is why when you're trading and you're doing intraday trades, you kind of want to look at this, and you have to have your finger on the trigger. You got to set your stop losses. You got to kind of be ready, because if the RSI goes below anything like below 40, below a 30, or anywhere in the 30s, that's when I would buy. So today, for example, I would have bought at 11:20, if I'm following this chart, when I saw the actual candles adjust. Now, let me go to a one-day chart. I want you to see this, because this actually is how you can really make money in your day. So this is the one-day chart. These candlesticks, and if you're not following me on YouTube, please check out the YouTube channel. It's a link in my bio. You can literally see the chart that I'm looking at, so we can all deal at the same time. Just want to say hi to the room. What's going on? Cool yourself. How come everyone has great names up in here? That's a great name. What's going on? Mortal Group, what up? That hot chick, or talk that chic. Yeah. What's going on, Portia? How you doing? I am Supernatural. What up? Ali? What's going on, cuz? All right, cool. So, if you want to follow this, just go click the link in my bio and you can check out the chart. So today, if you're looking at the candlesticks, right, you're seeing the open, and this thing's in my way. I want to close that out. Get out of my way. All right, so you're seeing the candle. So it's going green. It's moving up from 9 o'clock. That's usually the first set of buyers. When folks have, the desire to buy a stock in that day, they kind of set their trades before the day starts and they execute. So there's usually a lot of green in the beginning of the mornings, right? But around 10:30, 11 o'clock is when you'll see what the stock's going to do. So at approximately 10:21, this green candlestick stopped being green. The next one after that was red, right? When you see the candles turning colors, that means that it's on a downtrend. And as you see, the red continued. This is when people are trading and selling and getting short sales. That's when they're doing that. My little girl's going off right now. I love it. All right. So as the red is going down, that means the stock is going down, right? But I want you to not look at up here, but look at down here. You see down here? This was your indicator to know that the stock price was going to go down. Check out the RSI this entire time, right? The RSI was moving up all morning. So it went from, let's see, it started off at down here, 25, right? So again, like I said, you got to look at the RSI when you buy. The RSI is a 25, right? Automatically, I would buy just because that's a discount. Cool. So I'm buying that stock price at that point at 9:30 in the morning. Cool. That's when the stock opened up. You're going to make a little run. As the RSI went up, people made money, right? The stock price went from 864, 861 up to 874, 880, 877. It kept going up, 880. Okay, stock price kept going up, right? Cool. 885 is how high it got to. 888. That's as high as it got. All right. Check out the RSI when it was that high. The RSI climbed to 65. Right? So it went from a 25 to a 65. As soon as I saw the RSI change course, went from a 65 and it started going down from 65 down to a 56. As soon as I saw that, I'm selling because I already know that that's not the direction that I want to see my stocks in. And if you had sold at that point, you'd have locked in your 882 gain, right? Cool. RSI drops back down. It's going down. It's as low as 38 now, 37. It can keep going. It's fluctuating back and forth throughout the day. And at approximately 11:22, the RSI drops down to 31. Okay. Remember, like I said, anything above a 50, you're trading at a premium. That's when you should probably sell. Anything below a 50 is you're buying at a discount. That's when you should buy. Cool. At that moment, at 12:20, at 11:24, 11:22, the RSI was at a 31. At that point, I would have bought. So let's say in intraday, the same stock, right? The price is 840. If you want to do these types of trades and you want to waste time doing that, that's cool. I don't kind of like to do that because I don't have the time to sit there. I work like 9 to 5, so I don't really have the time to sit at my computer. But if you're off today, this is how you would look at it, right? So the RSI was at a 31. I'd buy there. And if you had bought at that point and you just watched the RSI, it moved up between 11 all the way to 12. It went up to a 59, to a 60. Again, now it's at a premium. You sell again. That wouldn't be much of a profit. 855 versus 848, not much of a profit there. But let's say you wanted to kind of ride it out throughout the day. Let's say you thought you got it at a discount. Okay, it's 840, and you rode it all the way through out till about 2:16 p.m., 873. These are small numbers. We're not talking about massive gains. In other stocks, like stocks that are moving a lot more fluctuated, that are going from like $8 to $12 in one day, I love watching the RSI with those because the gain is a lot greater. But with this stock on specifically today, right? These are the types of trades that people make intraday to make small amounts of money. Small amounts of money. Now, you talk about volume. If you have 1,000 shares of this, well, 10 cents, 20 cents makes a difference, right? So anyway, so the moral of the story is this. Right now, the stock closed out at 850. Let's go to where we are today. The RSI right now is at a 20. Nope, at a 20. It was at a 26.30, ended up at a 42. This is going to keep going down. As the lawsuit continues to manifest itself, the price of this stock will go down, even though the company is actually still creating revenue, still renting out to people, all that stuff still happening. So what I would say for folks is you have to play this for the long game after the lawsuits are over. So right now is your time to accumulate shares of this if you think that this is the right thing to have in your portfolio. I'm not saying that this should be 100% of your stocks, but if you're already invested in this, like let's say you had bought Hire Car when it was $19. Let's say you bought it 2 months ago, $19, or you bought it even this month and it was $9 or $10, and now it's back down to $8.55. This is the time to accumulate shares of this stock. And you can look at that by just looking at the 3-month chart. When we talk about the RSI over the 1-day period, that's one thing. When I widen out my frame to 3 months, you can now see what the actual average of the RSI is over time. Look at where it is right now. So if I lengthen my time frame to 3 months, the RSI then recalculates itself. And as you can see over a 3-month period, the stock is still trading below 50, right? You got to look at it this way. When you think that a company is going to rebound out of something, and the RSI over a 3-month, 6-month, or year to date is below 50, which it will be, you got to look at that. If you want to micro look at it over the last 5 days, again, you can do it that way too, but you'll see the RSIs, it's less of an average, right? They're not using all the numbers, they're using less numbers. So you're going to get the relative strength index over that time frame. The longer you go, the more you actually get to see because you get more numbers, you get more data. More data always gives you a better look. So right now the RSI is trading at 44, 49, 52 over a 5-day period. But when you go to a 6-month chart, look at where the RSI is. So it's basically saying that if you're buying shares right now, you're getting them at a discount. If you have a long range, which I do, I'm young, I'm in my 30s, I can invest for the next 30 years. This company will be around. I don't think this lawsuit is, again, founded in something where it's going to cause the company to lose its shirt. No, they're just basically saying that the company did not give you guys the right amount of information about its resources when it comes to the actual claims part of its company. So let's put it this way. They don't have vehicles, but they insure them. And there were a lot of accidents that they actually underrepresented in their reports. So that's what the lawsuit's about, saying that, hey, folks didn't get the actual right numbers, and therefore you now owe them for any losses that they may have had from $19 down to 10. Now, my simple solution for that is you're getting it half price. Okay, cool. They didn't tell you about the loss claims and they didn't have enough in reserves. Okay, that's fine. They'll fix that. But the company itself is averaging 50% revenue over the next 4 quarters. Like that's what their actual estimation is. So they're going to get through this. And long term, right now, if I'm collecting stocks at $8 a piece, if that grows back to 19, guess what? I've doubled my money and made it right back. So I don't need the lawsuit and the lawyers who are going to get paid off with this lawsuit to know that I can still be in a good position if I'm actually primed correctly. So for me, again, this is just a quick kind of look at HireCar. I still have a good outlook on this company long term because of their business model. If they make it through this lawsuit and they can actually settle, which they probably will, and whatever that's going to cost them, that's going to cost them. For me, the range on this is more of a 1 year to 1 to 2 years is my range on this. So if you don't have that kind of time, then get out. if you have that kind of time, then collect those shares at a low RSI. Right now, that's 33%. So I'm good with that. All right, so that's enough of that. My neighbor keeps honking their horn, so maybe they're trying to get in their car. So let's close this out. So for folks, let me kind of show you how I start looking at stocks. And this is a good way, if you're new to the investment game and you've never really invested in things before, a good way to kind of get started is to go to Yahoo Finance or finance.yahoo.com. And then what I typically do is I will go to, I don't want to go to cryptos right now. I'll go to stock most actives. All right. So this is like a little secret I'm going to give y'all for those who are new to stocks. Go to this little section right here. If you're not on our YouTube, you need to be. Click the link in my bio. Let me make the screen a little bit bigger. Go to this section right here. Let's open this up. Most actives, right? Click on that. It's usually on the right side as a tab. I click on this, and it kind of brings up a page where it shows me all of the ticker symbols that were most active today. And I can sort this by volume. I can sort it by percentage change. You can sort it by anything. So what I would do is I'm going to sort it by percentage change. Okay. I want to see which ones went up by the most, which ones went down by the most. So today, there's a company called Dynavax Technologies Corporation. I don't know who they are, but they had a 26% change today. Their volume was 30 million. Their average 3-month volume is 3 million. So here's how you look at this. And I want to show you this little secret. When you look at this chart, right, the one thing that you can kind of look at to see if something's like a fluke, as opposed to something that's a little bit more standard, look at the average 3-month volume as opposed to the volume today. So in this example, DVAX, their ticker symbol is DVAX, right? They have an average 3-month volume of 3.7 million trades. Okay, per day. That's their average. Today, however, they traded at a volume of 30.48 million trades today of that stock, right? That is the highest that they've ever seen, according to like just the 3-month average and what have you. Their market cap is 2.1 billion. A company like this is a company that, again, let's look at them. Let's click on their little link. So what I do is I click on their ticker symbol. I go over to their summary and look at their chart. I go to the 6-month chart because, again, this is how I do this. This is any company you want to do this with, right? I go to the 6-month chart, and on here it shows me the company started off last 6 months. It was $10, and now it's trading at $18. Had a big spike over the last couple of days. It went from 14 to 18 bucks, but prior to that, it was trading at around $9, and it jumped up to 18. So you doubled your money in the last month. In a month, it doubled its money. Okay, cool. Its short-term outlook is negative. A midterm outlook is positive. Long-term outlook is positive. Okay, so right now, this looks good, right? I can look at this and say, okay, this seems like a pretty decent stock. It looks like they had a pretty good, soaring day today. They got a lot of volume. I wonder what that's about. Let's go to their profile. So I'm walking you through exactly what I do so that you can do this too. I want to say what up to Serenity's child. What's going on? Miss Kimmy Possible. What up? What up? Double 1985. What's going on, brother? Vulgarity. What's going on, bro? All right. So we go to their profile. That's the next thing that I do. So I start off with, I go to the most active stock, see what one went really high today. Okay, he'll tap into it and check out its profile. Cool. Go to the profile and find out what it's about. So this company is out of California. It says that Dynavax Technologies Corp is a biopharmaceutical company focuses on developing and commercializing novel vaccines in the United States. The company markets HEP, helpless AV/B, hepatitis B vaccines for prevention of infection caused by all known subtypes of hepatitis B. Also manufactures and sells CpG 1018, whatever that is, an adjuvant used for this type of technology. Okay, the collaborative agreement with Valneva Scotland Limited, agreement with Serum Institute in India. So they're basically a vaccine company. Now let's see what they did in the news, because I feel like I'm missing something here. What's their claim to fame? Why were they going off today? Vaccine trials show positive results. Okay, so do you remember we were talking about news articles? So we just talked to HireCar. HireCar had a negative news article about being sued. Their stock price went down. Dynavax has an article about COVID-19 vaccine trials show positive results, and flip, stock price bounces. That's all. So the news cycle has a way of impacting stocks, and when it does, sometimes that momentum continues to push. So 5 COVID vaccine stocks with late stage candidates you'll want to watch. So this is this is a part of its thing. So what are the experts saying? They're saying that this is a buy, 1.8. 6 of them say that it is a strong buy. 5 say it's a buy. 1 say it's a strong buy. So folks are just kind of, again, trying to predict what this company is going to do because they have a positive outlook. They've beat their estimates for the last 3 quarters according to their earnings, which is always a good thing. So these are the kind of companies that, again, it's not hard to find this, right? Like all we did was we went to Finance Home, right? I'm going to go through it again. Went to Finance Home, which is finance.yahoo.com. Scroll down to the right side. It says stock gainers. I went to actually most active. I didn't even go to stock gainers. I went to most actives, stock. And the reason why I wanted to go most active because I want to see what's moving. I want to see what companies are moving forward faster or slower, right? Why is my computer trying to mess with me right now? I know I clicked it the right time. Okay. Go to most actives, right? Most active stocks. Click on that. And it pulls up all of the most active stocks for that day. And that's usually based on volume. Okay, cool. And that's how they tell if a stock is active or not. They look at the volume of the stock. So if a stock is a very active stock, the volume of the trades are going to be high. So the most active stock was Lucid Group, which traded at 87.3 million volume. So you know what these things mean, because we can talk about this all day, but if you don't know what the terminology is and why people are using it, it's not going to serve you. All right. So all you do is you go into here and then you click on to change, percentage change. Click on that. When you click it, it'll show you the biggest losses. When you click it again, it'll show you the biggest gainers. And that's where we find our positive stocks for the day. So these are little tricks that we do just to kind of find our list. You want to find a list of companies that you want to track. And what I would suggest anyone to do is if you have a company like this that you see that, okay, Dynavax, never heard of them before. They doubled their money in the last month and a half. Okay, cool. Follow them. Put them on your stocks app on your Apple phone and just kind of track them to see what they're going to do. You'll be able to see the articles that are associated with Dynavax. You'll be able to see any of the trending, information from other advisors. So it's kind of a good way for you to get acclimated to it. Now, the other thing I would look at too here is the actual price. So on this chart, we have the one that had the highest percentage change, and you can see the volume next to it. What I actually look at as well is the price, because I want to find a stock that traded at a very high percentage that didn't cost me a lot to get into, right? So for example, in that list would be Fuel Cell Energy, FCell. You've heard of them before. They're actually one of the stocks that I follow. And over the last day, they traded at 11%. They had a volume of 30.3 million, and the average volume is 21 million. So they're kind of traded a little bit higher than the typical volume. But again, they had a pretty good day today. And I like companies like this where you can get in for something that's not a lot of money. Their stock price is $6.66 right now, which I don't like saying that number, but it's a lot of sixes. I like looking at companies that are under $10. So another one is CVE, Synovius Energy. Let's click on them and see what they're about. All right. So again, I'm just showing you exactly what I do. This is what I do every day. We go in there, we'll take a look at this. Okay, let's check out their stock chart. I like the 1 day, but let's go to 6 months. That gives me a better indicator of what it's done. So its stock is a little choppy. All right. And let's see what they do. Their profile says that they are energy together with its subsidiaries develops, produces, and markets crude oil, natural gas liquids, and natural gas in Canada, the United States, and Asia Pacific region. The company operates through oil sands. Oh, so this is an oil sands company. Okay, got you. All right, so that's all I needed to know. They're in Calgary. If you guys don't know about the oil sands, that's like it's basically it's in Canada, and they basically dig up the ground. The ground is literally saturated with oil, and they put it through a melting type of process where the oil actually starts to melt from the rocks, and they're able to kind of produce massive amounts of oil. And it's to the point where even in Calgary, like let's say that you like turn on your faucet, like at some points, if you're close enough to these refineries, you could literally light the water on fire. Like oil is, it can't be good for your teeth. It can't be good for your health, but you know, the folks that live up there, God bless you, because I couldn't do that. I have a couple of high school friends that moved up there and they live there now permanently. And I'm like, dang, like, I don't even know how much metal's in your water. I don't know how much oil's in your water, but I'm sure there's a lot going on. But anyway, so an oil sands company, cool. But that's how you find them. You know, you go to active stocks, you look at them and you kind of figure out, okay, this is something that's worth investing in. Another thing to look at in this section here is the 52-week range. What does this mean? This kind of shows you where the stock has, like the stock's potential. All right. So we're just breaking down some stuff for you here. I wasn't planning to go into this, but I figured since we're here, why not? So let's look at DVAX, right? DVAX has a 52-week range, which is over a year's period of time. What was the lowest price? What was the highest price? That's all that means. So the 52-week range indicator tells you what type of range the stock has moved during the time of the last 12 months, right? And it shows you where the stock is currently based on that chart. So let's say over the last 52 weeks, DVAX, for example, they're right now at the top end of that. So they're literally trading at one of their highest points. I think their highest point, it says 20.66 was their highest point, and right now they're trading at $18. So they're literally closer to the highest that they've ever been, as opposed to another stock. For example, let's say Stitch Fix, SFIX. That stock has a range of $25 at its lowest and $113 as its highest, right? It's traded between that in the last 52 weeks. And right now it's trading at $25. So it really has had a huge shrinking of its value. What does that mean as an advisor? That means that this company has the potential to grow back to where it was. So it's a potentially $113 stock that you can buy for $25. Now, I don't know anything about Stitch Fix. I don't know who it is or what they're about. But if I were to click on them to see what they're about, let's do that. Let's click in. This is how you kind of figure out if this is even a good thing to invest in, because they made 15% today. Let's see what that means. What kind of company is this, right? So Stitch Fix, pulling them up. They are, let's see why they surged. Surges after earnings beat FedEx's warnings. Adobe growth slows. So the reason why they had a huge stock day today is because they actually outperformed their earnings. And that's actually pretty darn good. Look at this. Look at the chart. Earnings versus revenue. Like they're kicking butt. $1.7 billion in revenue. That's not bad. And they beat their consensus. So that's why they're kind of trading in the high. Let's see what they do. Because I'm actually interested in this. Stitch Fix. What do you guys do? Stitch Fix Inc. sells a range of apparel, shoes, and accessories through its website and mobile application in the United States. It offers denim dresses, blouses, skirts, shoes, jewelry, handbags for men. Handbags for men? I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna judge. Handbags for men, women, and kids under the Stitch Fix brand. The company was formerly known as Rack Habit Inc. and changed its name to Stitch Fix Inc. In October of 2011, Stitch Fix was founded in 2011 by its headquartered in San Francisco. So they're a clothing company. Cool. So yeah, you see, so it's things like this where it's like, wow, like this is cool. Let's look at their chart. Let me see what they did in the last 6 months. So see that was their height, right? One of their highs, $64. Let me see the last year, because it said they traded between 100 and what was the numbers? It said it traded between 113 and 25, right? Okay, let's go back to Stitch Fix. Where's the 113 at? That must have been a spike somewhere throughout their January, somewhere around here. But what it's looking like is $95. So again, companies like this, where's that? Am I gonna find it? $95 was as high. A company like this is not something that I don't like to invest in clothing companies. It's just the thing. I just don't like that because I kind of feel like I kind of want to be in a market that is new and that is techie. That's just me. But whatever floats your boat. If this stock can go from, $41 to $95 and double its money, that's cool. But here's what they're thinking. So the performance outlook is a negative after 6 weeks to 9 months and a negative plus 9 months. So, I mean, I don't like this. So let me show you what I don't like. I don't like when there's lower lows. So you see how a stock going like this, it goes from a low to like a high, then a dip, then up, and then when it starts retracing and going backwards, so down a peak and then it goes down even lower, then a peak, then goes down lower, then it peaks up, but then it continues to go trending down. Like I just don't like that view right now, unless I have like a good outlook. So I wouldn't really invest too much in this. But guys, this is just a good way to look at stocks and a good way to kind of feel it out. So enough of that. So let me get out of here. Go back to our landing page here. All right. So that was a quick and painless. I got to give you guys a little bit of stocks. Got to stay true to that. All right. So with the next 20 minutes that we have, I kind of want to talk about a little bit what we talked about last week, which was preparedness in the event that there's a catastrophe and how you're going to prepare for that. And then I kind of want to go into you as a person, right? All right. So I'm getting a vibe. Do you know what vibe I'm getting, y'all? I'm getting a vibe that there is going to be a market correction soon. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, y'all. It's not my thing, but I kind of have to bear that bad news right now. We've had a very good run. Very good run. We have been in the positives when it comes to stocks, when it comes to a lot of the portfolios. We have been riding this bull market for quite some time. And I know some of us have had stocks that have actually dropped a lot during this time. However, the overall market has been actually moving into positive territory. This past month was one of the roughest months we've had. But prior to that, the market's just been pushing through everything. The NASDAQ has been literally, it went from 2017, it was at 6,000. Now it's trading at 15,000, literally, triple, almost triple, right? We've never had a run this long, quite some time. And I want to tell y'all that doesn't last. The last correction we had was in 2008, and then again in 2011. And from 2011 up until now, we've had a run on the NASDAQ. It went from 2,441 to 15,000, right? That's a huge run. It's just been going the entire time. We had a little dip in 2020 for COVID, but outside of that, we've kind of rebounded from that and continue to push through. I don't think that is going to be sustainable just because, again, there are a lot of laws that are coming through the pike right now that are going to impact a lot of people, folks that own property, folks that are renting, impact folks who are unemployed. There is a shift that's going to take place, and I just want y'all to be ready for it by understanding what I think is going to happen with that shift and how you can position yourself to be in a good place when it happens, right? So here's what I'm doing. I'm saving money. I'm saving it as much as I can. I am trying to put it hand over fist wherever I can because there's going to come an opportunity to buy a lot of stocks at a discounted and deflated price when this whole ship decides to take a correction. Okay. And it's going to correct. It always does. That's something that the market has consistently done is whenever you had a huge run, a long run, it has to pull back. The last time was COVID that made a pullback, but it's going to happen again. And I want you to have cash on the side so that when it does, you can therefore jump in and invest and make a killing off of that, right? I want to talk about how to do that, in my opinion, right? You want to stay invested. You want to have your portfolio working for you because there's two ways to make money. You making money with your 9 to 5 and interest and stocks making money, right? Investments making money. So you want to always have your money invested, right? But diversifying the assets that you have, I think right now is a very important thing. If you have a ton of cryptocurrency, okay, cool. Start beefing up your other assets. If you don't have, physical gold and silver, think about purchasing that. Try to find diversification in your asset classes now, because I feel like when things do switch, one of these things are going to continue to proceed forward. Usually when stocks go down, the price of gold goes up. So having certain hedges like that are usually a good idea. Now, I'm not really big on gold stocks because I need to see that they actually have the gold, like they need to have the actual physical gold in their presence, and no one can prove that to me. So like I'd rather actually own those precious metals. But I think being able to have a diversified asset class for yourself personally is a really good way to start with this process, because again, if the stocks go down, usually precious metals go up. Now with crypto, same thing, that's going to have an adverse reaction as well to the market. So if the market starts to take a dive, the price of crypto is pretty much going to go up, because the folks who are receding and losing, like for the market to go down, just so you know what economically happens, that means that there are more people selling than buying. That's all it means. So for the markets to go up, that means that there are more people buying stocks and selling stocks. So we just looked at the NASDAQ, right? And I was looking at the NASDAQ stock just now. The NASDAQ has pretty much run from 2000. In 2011, it was like a 2,400 all the way up to 15,000 right now, right? That's its run. That's what it's done the entire time. Okay, cool. It's at 16,000 now, actually. So for me, again, that is a beautiful run. Like you've gone from 2,000 all the way to 16,000. Okay, great. That just means that there were more people buying in to those NASDAQ companies as opposed to selling them. Now, what happens when this whole thing switches? The correction means that people are now selling more of their shares of that NASDAQ, those NASDAQ companies, as opposed to buying them. And when they sell out of the market, they have to put their money somewhere. Where do they put their money? They're going to find crypto. They're going to find it and they're going to put money there. So to me, and that's just what I'm seeing, because I've seen financial institutions transitioning their actual reserves into cryptocurrency. I've seen them transition their reserves into volatile types of asset classes in stocks, which are like, we call them, I forget the term. Oh my gosh, the tip of my tongue. Oh my goodness, what is it called? Anyway, it's basically a very risky type of investment that they're using, and it makes a lot of money, but it can also lose them a lot of money. Derivatives, boom, there it is. So banks and financial institutions are actually investing their money that you say that you're giving in your savings account. They're putting that into derivatives markets right now to make a killing in the derivatives market and also into cryptocurrency. So if financial institutions are doing this, right, chances are that's what's going to happen when the market flips. It's going to be an opportunity for folks to transition money from the actual stock market into another type of market, which I'm assuming is going to be cryptocurrency. And it could be any of them. So one of the things that I would suggest folks are looking at is the same way we looked at the most active stocks. Look at the most active cryptocurrencies. Try to find out which ones are going to survive this influx of money and are going to be the ones that are going to kind of get the bag, because the money's going to go somewhere. It's not going to just disappear into nothing. No, when the market starts to turn and those investors and those wealthy folk are going to say, hey, I don't want to lose the money that I have. I got to put it in something. They're going to start looking for areas to put the money in. And as soon as they start dropping money into these areas, the price of those things will go up exponentially. So you got to prepare for that. Be ready for it from now. So I would say start looking at alternatives to the stocks that you own. Look at alternative avenues, whether it be cryptocurrency, which I think is the best one to start with, even though, again, that's not guaranteed. And again, I've actually had friends who've had crypto wallets completely wiped out. It's not as secure as we thought it was. So when you think about it, what is more secure than cryptocurrency that's going to have people running to it if the market were to crash? That's what you got to find, right? For me, I'm kind of on the idea that it's going to be, you're better off investing in something that's physical and tangible, as opposed to something that is digital and arbitrarily controlled by who knows. I don't even know who controls the crypto markets right now. No one, they say that no one controls it. However, I know that certain government agencies can actually go into your crypto wallet and wipe it out. So if no one controls crypto, how can they get in there and do that, right? So again, people are there because it's supposed to be secure. My thing is diversification of asset classes is the key. Buying different things, whether it be land, whether it be actual items that are of value, could be paintings, could be something that's going to be worth value, precious metals, property that has actual tenants that can pay rent. Diversifying, getting land that you can grow crops on, whatever it may be. This is the time to start looking at that now, because when this thing turns, the amount of money that you have in your portfolios are going to drop dramatically. Like, let's say you got 100 grand, that could drop to 50 grand in the span of a week. And as it's going down, you're going to try to find places to put it in, right? Like, oh my, let me cash this out real quick. It's at 80,000. Dang, I just lost 20 grand. I'm going to put it in this. Like, you're going to try and do all this dancing and singing. But the better position is to actually just be prepared for it, to say, hey, my portfolio is 100 grand. Let me take 30,000 out now. Take 30,000 out and let me try to invest that in something that's tangible, that's going to be worth 30,000 no matter what the stock market does. There's certain real estate right now that I see that you can buy for 800,000. That's going to be worth $1 million in the next year and a half. And that's just because it's in a good market, So this is a time to really look at diversifying your portfolio and finding ways to generate revenue that may not be from the stock market interest, because I feel like those days we've had a good run. We've had a good 10 years of being able to make money in the stock market. And I believe that time has come where we're gonna have to find a different way. And not long-term, but just in the short term, because the correction usually lasts anywhere from a year to 3 years. That's typically how long it'll last. With a lot of volatile markets, you'll have some companies do really well, other companies and most companies do pretty poorly. So trying to find those winners during that time, we're going to have conversations about that. And again, priming your stocks to be in companies that are going to still be able to profit, even if the market's doing poorly, that's really clutch. So for example, when we look at a company like Amazon, right? Even if the market crashes, Amazon is still going to be selling and delivering packages. Like, that's not changing. So being able to invest in companies that work with Amazon or that work with that type of organization might be useful. But here's the thing, got to be careful of, right? When the market does what I think it's going to do and this correction is going to happen, even this company as strong and as powerful as Amazon is going to feel it too, because they've already had a lot of rumbling when it comes to their workers and the work conditions that they work in. They've already had some rumblings about the type of difficult jobs that they actually have. And with COVID, them not even having the security of having proper facility cleanliness opportunities, they're like, there's been a lot of talk with them too. So like, even the best of those companies that we rely on as the staples of the stock market, even they're going to have problems when this thing happens. So I would say this is a time to really get yourselves in a good position financially. If you have a lot of debts, try to get rid of those. If you have the opportunity to purchase things that are going to be worth or be valued in an economy that is depressed because of a market correction, just think of it this way. Like, go back to 2007, 2008, and look at which companies were performing well during that time. That's a pretty good, I would say that's a pretty good indicator for what's going to happen, in my opinion, that type of drastic market downturn. Because again, we've had a good run. So, well, that's pretty much all I got for that. Let's see, what else do you want to talk about, y'all? So I'm on your time now. We got 10 minutes left. We talked about a few higher car. We talked about stocks separating. We talked about RSI. We talked about the market correction that's coming that you guys have to be ready for. Let's talk about you. So I'm a part of a group of individuals who are researching our history and studying, the ancient ways, right? And one of the things that I've always seen come across is the idea of your intentions becoming real things, right? If you intend to do good, chances are it'll manifest in a good way. If you intend to do bad, same thing. Whatever you kind of create within yourself is what you'll find. And I don't know if that's the law of the universe or the law of just the way that things are, but you're going to find what comes to you because you are literally attracting it with your thoughts and with your intentions. So over the next 12 months, I would say really, there's a lot of inner work that needs to be done for y'all. Like, there's a lot of inner work that we need to kind of stick to and get really down to the grassroots of it, because the stock market's not going to save us. Whether you have cryptocurrency is not going to save you. Like, what's going to save you is how you think. What's going to save you is how you treat others. What's going to save you is knowing your truth. There is a series called Hidden Figures that I have. It's a 5-pack, and they also have something called Buck Breaking and another one with Haitian Revolution, right? And I'm going to watch all of these videos over the next, I'd say this weekend and the next weekend, to kind of get myself acclimated to the history of our troubles and our trials in this country and even in the world as a people. Because a lot of the things that we've seen have been changed when it comes to historical fact. For example, Hannibal, historical fact, there is a Netflix, I guess, show about Hannibal, obviously white guy, this, that, and the third. Hannibal was a black man who rode African elephants into war. And he conquered the majority of Europe, went through France, came through, coming through the Asia. Like he went to China. Like he just with African elephants. This man had trained African elephants that had armor on that he would use in battle. And how are you going to stopping an like that was like the first time that you saw like a tank, essentially, right? That was one of our great warriors. He's been whitewashed. How? Like, so there is a lot of people that are now coming into the knowledge of themselves. And that is allowing them to have a level of confidence and conviction within themselves to say, hey, there's a lot of stuff I didn't know that was a part of our history. Everything that was a part of you is within your DNA. Like you're going to be able to tap into all those things if you start eating right, researching the right things, being around the right folks, understanding the right frequencies. You know, I had a conversation with a close friend of mine this week. What's going on, T? And her and I vibed immediately. We talked about, you know, just catching up, things like that. But then we talked about a project. And I could literally feel her energy through the phone. I could feel her passion through the phone. Why? Because again, she's aligned with herself, with what she believes is a good cause. She knows herself, right? And to me, that's where we all need to be as a people. Like we need to get to a space where we understand who we are, what we're about, and what things resonate with us, because going forward, that's going to be what saves us. Not how much money you have in your savings account, not, you know, whether or not you can retire at 40, like, and you drive a Ferrari. All those things are going to go. Like those things aren't the things of reality. Like those are just things, you know? I feel like people need to get back to the space where we start vibrating and connecting with each other and understanding that that's a lot more important than all of the material things that you can have in this life. You know, my wife was talking to me about a potential vacation plan next year. And I'm like, baby, honestly, I'm not even in the space to want to go anywhere. I just want to hang out with y'all. Like, I just want to kind of enjoy, save my money, kind of get ready for what's coming, because I value that more than doing things like that. However, I had a great time in Jamaica the other day. So there is a balance that has to occur. But why did I have a great time there? Because I was out in nature. I was able to be on a beach and stare at the sun, which, by the way, if you've never stared at the sun before, you should try it. It's called sun gazing, and it actually helps to correct certain things in your eye if you have melanin in your eyes. If you don't, I wouldn't suggest you do that. It might hurt you. But that for folks who have melanin in their eyes, I definitely recommend that, because there's a lot of energy that transfers between the sun and you'll be surprised what that unlocks inside of your body. So, and again, we are created, this earth is us. Like the sun literally powers us. Like, you know, that you know, Superman, when he hits the sun, he gets more powerful. He was kind of based on melanated folk, just so you know. So for folks who don't understand that, again, this is what I mean by tapping back into your history. Understand that a lot of the things that you learned weren't actually real. For example, I'm going to show you a picture, okay? And I hope I can find it quickly because we are running out of time. This is going to be my gift to y'all today. There is a picture of it's something that's located in the Caucasus Mountains, okay? And I'm going to show you this. Look at this. Can you see that? This was an image from a town near it's near Russia. I forget the name of the place. You know, that place that was kind of under attack by Russia. They wanted to kind of take it over, and they were kind of getting not going to say Georgia, but there's a place in Russia that they're literally fighting for, and they've always been fighting for it. Cool. This was in one of their caves in the mountain near one of their churches that was first established out there, okay, near the Caucasus Mountains. And this is an image of, it looks like, you know, you see at the bottom left. I don't know if you can really see this, but if you want to know what this is, this is a part of the history of Christianity, of the beginning and foundations of the church, of the Exodus story of Moses. This right here, this carving is one of the oldest carvings that have been found to talk about our actual ancient history. And as you can see, the zodiacs are actually a part of the circles. You can see some creatures that are in the side over here. You can see Black men and women actually on the middle right side here. Like, I want you to, when you watch this, I want you to, if you're on Instagram, try to like when this is loaded back up, try to look at this image. This is the kind of history that you're never taught in any book, in any part of any history class you've ever seen in your life. You'll never see that picture anywhere. And sorry, y'all YouTube folk, I loaded on IG, not on here. But this is an image that actually looks at the actual God of this age. He's in the center. And if I showed you this picture up close, let me stop sharing that. If I showed you that picture up close without the flash, you're going to see that his complexion is a lot darker. That's without flash. Okay. His complexion is a lot darker, right? This is the type of history that I want you guys to start tapping into. And if you don't know what this is, hit me up, DM me offline, and I'm going to send you some things to read because there are other folks who understand this history. There are other folks who understand what this actually is and what it represents and who it's actually describing. It shows our ancient ancestors, our people, the melanated folk of this planet who actually inhabited the entire earth at one point. It shows a picture of creation, a picture of who is what and why. So if you don't know about this and you haven't seen this in church or your pastor never talked about it, I'm going to tell you right now, it's time for you to get awakened. It's time for you to realize that there is a lot of things that we need to tap into that is a part of us that we don't have access to, not because it's not us, but because it was hidden from you, literally. So I would suggest if you've never seen Hidden Figures before, go look at one. And if you are close to me, and I'll send you a copy. Like, I don't mind. I will be happy to share. But get educated on our true history, on what has been taken from us and the knowledge of those things, which if you can realign yourself with that energy, you're not going to care about the stock market. You're not going to care about, puts and calls on investments. Like, you're not going to care about any of that. Hidden colors, sorry. You're not going to care about any of that stuff because there's so much more to do. There's so much more to do than that. You know what I mean? We have a whole planet to take back over, right? So yeah, folks, this is the time. This is the time to get educated. This is the time to not be afraid of your truth, right? Get back to it. Get back to it. Get back to who we are. Get back to our history. Get back to what we used to do. Like, there was a gentleman who actually described to me from his own understanding how the pyramids were created. Think about how powerful that is for someone like me. I've always wanted to visit the pyramids my entire life. I've never been. And wife, maybe that's what we should plan on trying to do, go to Egypt and go to the pyramids. I've always wanted to go. And I've always wondered, like, that was the biggest mystery to me. Like, how come I don't know how they made this? Like, how did they get the stones there? How did they quarry them? How did they get them to be perfectly sealed on each other? Like, what type of concrete did they use to seal the stones? Like, how did they, was it magnetism? What did they use? And this gentleman described to me the exact process of how it worked. And it made sense. And I'm like, wow, we didn't know this, but we should know this because we were there. we are universal beings. Like, we don't die, just so you know. Like, the Bible talks about, life after death. It's always talked about that. When we die on this earth, at least if the good will rise again. We've always had this idea that life was not something that was finite. It didn't just end for us. And if you knew more about your history, which has been sealed off in museums and by certain governments in different countries in Europe, they know your history. The Smithsonian knows your history. The Vatican knows your history because when they conquer and they take those things, they bring it back to Rome, they bring it back to those centers of control, and they read the manuscripts themselves. They become aware of your history, and then they burn them because they don't want you to know. What's more important to you, the stock pick of tomorrow or knowing that you have power that you haven't tapped inside of you? You tell me. I'm all about the power. I'm all about understanding what we are and who we are. And when you get there, trust me, you're not going to care about some of the things that we're talking about right now. You're not going to care about cryptocurrency. You're not going to care about gold and silver and all that. All that stuff doesn't matter. The time for all of that was, we're ushering that out. And we're ushering in a time where what's going to matter more is whether or not you're a truthful person, whether or not you love your neighbor as yourself, whether or not you understand that the God inside of you is unique to you and understands every part of you, because that God is connected to the God above. And that God above is not just an idea, but an actual God above that is looking over all of this and watching all of this to the end. So tap in, y'all. You know, this is something that I'm really happy that we can get into it. I just gave you a quick brief. I'm sure you got more in the last 3 minutes than the first hour, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. We tap into certain things when we tap in. But yes, Mortal Group, we built everything. We did. And I'll tell you one last thing. So there has been a group of deities that have been protecting this age. We call them our guardian angels, the archangels. They've been protecting. They're called the Elohim. If you look at any archangel, all of the names have the word El in them. So they have been protecting this age entire time because it had to play out. Their protection of the evil of this age is now over. They're no longer doing that. They're no longer playing out what's happening. They're now ready to help usher in the new age that's going to come. So for folks who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, DM me and we can talk about it offline, because again, having an understanding of where we are is going to give us a better footing of where we need to go. And as a community, there's no time for foolishness. There's no time for petty stuff. There's no time for not understanding that this is the last of the age. Like this, the Bible has talked about this forever. Like the days of, the end of times are coming. Like we're already in that. And I don't know how long we have in this, but let's get together and let's understand that the way that evil was enacted on us before, it won't work now, which means this is your time now to actually do what you need to do to get yourself in a position to usher in this new age that's going to be based on morality, based on your character, based on the things that are true and not the things that are false, based on your understanding of your history and who you are and what's inside of you. That's going to be everything. So folks, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I value. I will catch you guys on Clubhouse possibly later. We'll see. But if not, I'll catch you guys next week. So until then, peace, love, and continue to be amazing, because that's all we have. All right, y'all. Appreciate you. Love you. See you guys next week. Peace. All right, YouTube, what's popping? Yeah, so guys, get Hidden Colors, get volumes 1 through 5, get through it, and let's continue to learn about who we are, y'all. Like, I don't care what football team is playing tomorrow. I don't care. Like, I'm a Packers fan, and I don't even care to go to a game anymore, because I'm trying to understand self. I'm trying to understand all of the things within us that make us important and special and give us a different. We're different, y'all. Like, you have to understand that we're different, and our history has all of the answers. It's been hidden from us. So let's get to that. And if we do, if football still matters, cool. If it doesn't, cool. We created all this. So let's enjoy this experience while we're here, but let's understand who we were and why we did this. All right. So peace, family. I'll see you guys next week. Nelly, I see you there. Love and appreciate you too, sis. And we'll talk to you guys next week. All right. Peace out. Stay true to us. Peace.